Hit the ground running with the most revolutionary personal training program ever developed. The National Academy of Sports Medicine makes it quick, easy, and affordable to learn on the go. Only at NASM.org. Click the link in the show description or call 1-800-460-6276 to become an NASM certified personal trainer today.
Hello again, and welcome to our Strong Mind, Strong Body podcast. I'm your host, Angie Miller, and today we have another tapas-style podcast for you. It is going to be 2 bite-sized segments in one episode, and it's about all things jump rope. So I have a very special guest today who I actually met on Instagram, and she's become a great friend. But her name is Carly, and she is the owner of Gratitude Ropes, and she's also otherwise known as Jump Rope Mom. So I really became infatuated with Carly because I love to watch her jump rope videos. And I was like, I want that girl on my podcast because I want her to talk about all things jump rope. So welcome, Carly. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me. I am so stoked to be on here today. I've been following you for a long time as well, ever since I became a certified trainer. So I am very happy to be here. Thank you.
All right. So, Carly, you and I have a lot that we're going to dig deep into today. So speaking of tapas style, our first segment of our episode is just going to be about how to turn our passion into profit, because that's exactly what Carly did. And the second part of the episode is going to be what can jump roping do for us as trainers and how can we share it with our clients. So let's deep dive right into that right now. Let's talk about how to turn a passion into a profit, because I feel like, Carly, there are so many fit pros who are so inspired by something that they did as a kid or something that really makes them want to put their feet on the floor. And I think it's always a life mission of how do I turn this into a way to change lives globally? And I really feel like you have tapped into that. You've taken this thing that you did growing up. It feels like you came out of the womb doing it. And I would just love to know, how did you do that? So I guess my first question would be, I'm kind of curious, what age were you when you started jump roping?
I actually started jumping rope when I was 6 years old. I was a gymnast and then also got into jumping rope at school. And it's just been something fun. And I started doing it competitively. I got really good at it. The more you practice, the better you get at things. And and then I've been doing it basically my whole life. And then I stopped a while, obviously, when I was in high school, went to college. And then I picked it back up again after I had my second son as a way to stay fit around the house. And it just kind of comes back to you like riding a bike, but it's also just a killer full body workout. So now it's just been back to me like full circle. It's kind of crazy.
Okay. So at 6 years old, you started jump roping. And then as I understand, you started competing, right? So how old were you when you actually started competitively jump roping? And how does that even look? I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Oh my God. It's like, it's really big. Like you travel all over the world doing it. I was 8 years old in my first jump rope competition. And then I just I got into double dutch, started doing teams, started traveling around. At that point, I lived in Washington. We traveled to California to do different competitions, and it's a lot of fun. There are some crazy moves. If you guys look at what people are doing today with jump ropes, I mean, you add in gymnastics, backflips, freestyle. It is amazing. Really, really cool hand-eye coordination going down and cardio.
Yeah. So here you are, you're 8 years old, you start competitively jump roping. And how long did you do that? Like how did that journey go? You said you kind of stopped when you went to college. So how many years did you compete? And I'm curious, what's the furthest place you ever traveled when you were doing that competitive jump roping?
Florida is the furthest place I ever traveled. I stopped doing it, I think, when I was around 13, because my gymnastics started taking off. So I started doing that full time. But I've always done it just for fun. I mean, you would see me all the time outside my house in the driveway, jumping rope all over the place. But yeah, I probably stopped about 14 and then just did gymnastics.
Okay. Those two sports go hand in hand, though, I feel like. You just said you're doing backflips with the jump rope, so it sounds like that goes hand in hand. So, fast forward, you go on to college, you get married, you have these 2 babies, and I really want to know at what point did you decide I want to do more than just, jump rope in my garage and jump rope to keep me fit. I actually want to turn this into a life mission. At what point did you decide to do that, and kind of share that journey with us?
Yeah, so actually how I got back into it, I was going on vacation, and the hotel we were staying at did not have a gym. And I was like, kind of, me being this fitness freak, I'm like, how am I going to work out? Like, what am I going to do? And then I was like, oh, I can bring my jump rope. Like, I want a jump rope. And so I packed my jump rope in my suitcase. And I remember I was jumping rope for exercise out by the pool. And I had a couple other people out there being like, oh, wow, that's a great workout. Do you have any more ropes? Like, I want to try. And so I was like passing my jump rope around. And that moment right there, I was like, oh my God, this is like the missing piece to like exercise on the go. Like, you get a full body workout, calorie burn right here. You don't have to go anywhere. You can stay right here by the pool, with a beautiful view, or wherever you are in your home, even in your hotel room. And I was like, why aren't more people doing this? Like, the amount of calories I burn doing this is far more than like my jogging. It's lower impact and it's fun and challenging. So I was like, I need to teach people this. And I literally just like filmed a video of me jumping rope just for fun. And I posted it, and it ended up going viral. And I was like, and people are like, I want to jump rope. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I want to teach you. And so that was like my turning point, where I was like, I want to teach people to do this. And me being a busy mom, especially home with my kids, so many of us moms out there, or just people at home, they're like, how am I going to get to the gym? I have my kids here. Or how am I going to, I have to work all day. How am I going to fit in a 30-minute workout by the time I drive to the gym and come home? And I'm just like, this right here, people need to know, like, you can jump rope, and I will teach you. You don't need to be super coordinated. You'll learn it over time. Even just a basic jump will get a full body burn in. And that was just like, that was it. And so that video started like me then putting just videos for fun up on YouTube. And I honestly, that's a secret to growing your business, is starts with you just literally wanting to help people and just loving what you're doing. And then it just kind of starts spiraling. That was like 3 or 4 years ago. So
I was wondering. So that was 3 or 4 years ago. What's funny is, that's the secret sauce. First of all, when we go on vacation, I think a lot of times our mind resets. I think that when we go on vacation, it's like this cleansing experience. And so often when I go away, I kind of have this epiphany where I think about what's working, what's not working, how I want to navigate my life differently. And often I have to get away to figure all that out. And it's kind of funny that you actually were on vacation out by the pool, and you had this epiphany, and you actually kind of brought it to life in the moment, and realized how people get excited watching somebody do something that looks like something that they would like to do, but they're not sure how to do it, right? And
Exactly.
you probably made it look super easy, because people who are good at what they do always make everything look easy. So I'm sure they were like, oh yeah, I could do a double Dutch with a jump rope, but between under one leg, and do a backflip at the same time, because look at that girl. So
I know. No, I know. But a lot of people are intimidated at first, but you just break it down super easy. It's literally something all of us can learn. You don't have to be coordinated. I tell people that over and over again. I feel like the biggest battle are people are just, you're worried you're going to trip. Like, that's like the hardest part for people to like get over the fact that they might trip in front of someone, and it is totally normal. In fact, on my Instagram and all my videos, I do not edit out my trips. I want people to know that it's normal. We all trip, and that's how you learn. So, and that's how you also know when you're starting to fatigue, is when you start tripping, and then you have to pick yourself back up again and get that posture going. Which is another great benefit with jumping rope. Like, when you're jogging, you start to get tired, your form starts going down, and you don't correct yourself, you don't realize it. With jumping rope, as soon as you trip, you're like, oh, all right, gotta pick it back up again. It just keeps you in check too. It's really awesome.
What's funny is I have several jump ropes, and oftentimes I'll, pick up my kettlebell, do, 25 swings, grab my jump rope, do a minute of jump roping. And it's exactly right, because every time I start tripping, I'm like, okay, she's done. So, but mine's just the typical jump rope. I don't do anything fancy. There's no fancy tricks here. What's that?
That's all you need, though. That's what I tell people. You don't need to do all the tricks. I mean, if you want to do that and have fun and challenge yourself, that's great too. But seriously, just your basic jump is an amazing workout, and you'll have fun doing that.
Yeah. So I want to reintroduce you, Carly, for people who just come in, because everybody tunes in at a different time. So welcome to our Strong Mind, Strong Body podcast. I'm talking to Carly Kent. She is Jump Rope Mom, and she's owner of Gratitude Ropes. And we are talking about how to turn your passion into a profit, because that's exactly what Carly has done. So let's go a little bit deeper here. So you're on this vacation and you have this epiphany. You get home, you post this video on YouTube, it goes viral. By the way, everybody says it goes viral, and I'm always like, what exactly is that? But anyway, I mean, I know that it means that a bunch of people saw it, but so you get all this recognition for jump rope, and you're like, this is it. I want to teach people how to jump rope. So take us a little bit through this journey. How does this become then a business model, so to speak? Where's it gone from there?
So I just kind of dove right into it. There's so many things, especially when we want to start our own business, that we think we need to get done. And honestly, you just need to start somewhere. And so I just started with what I knew, and that is I'm a fitness instructor. I know how to jump rope, and I'm just going to incorporate it in there in the simplest way possible. So I just started doing home workouts, integrating jumping rope as a cardio. And I just started uploading them on YouTube. Honestly, my first videos, I literally die when I see them. Like we all do, when you first start out, you can look back and be like, oh my gosh, but you got to start somewhere. Do not let that stop you. There's many times I was going to delete those, but I just kept them up. Anyway, I just started posting videos on YouTube, and then I'd also just start sharing them on my social media and just doing freestyle. And then I would just start asking questions with my audience, kind of understanding what it is that people want to learn, and just kind of niching down exactly on who my target person is and who I want to help. And that's kind of where it starts to grow. You really just kind of niche down and figure out who it is exactly that you want to help, and just tailor your workout and programs to that person, one step at a time. So it started with the workouts, and then I would start posting stuff on YouTube, and I'd start asking questions, and I'd start learning what people are struggling with and what they are worried about jumping rope. And then I would do tutorials on that. And just start with that. And then later down the road, I wanted to come up with my own jump rope line, and that's what I did. But it took me 9 months, because I took back the feedback of what people wanted and what I truly believed is, the best solution for what I was teaching, and kind of develop that and put that together. And then it just all comes, it just kind of all just falls in place, kind of organically in a way. But it's a long journey, but you just do one step at a time, and you'll get there at your own pace when you're ready for it.
Yeah. And I hear a few things in there. Number one, I hear you have to let go of fear. You have to let go of all this self-doubt, and you have to just post something. Like, you have to get it up there. You've got this passion, you've got this talent. You put it up there on YouTube, and you say, here it is. It's raw, it's organic, it's not edited. This is just me. I'm showing you what I love. And I really think that actually speaks to people, is that authenticity. And I'm glad that you actually didn't take those down, because I think that that's really important. And so I hear that you overcame your fear. I hear that you kept it raw and organic and authentic. And then I hear that you actually had to niche down and really figure out who is your market, because I imagine that a really cute girl jumping on, and you and I talked about this, so I can say it, on Instagram and YouTube probably drew an audience that necessarily wasn't really your audience. And so, like you said, you had to kind of niche down. And I feel like that might be, I don't know, I haven't asked you this, but I feel like that might be how you came up with Jump Rope Mom. It's kind of like saying, look, I'm talking to moms here, and I am a mom. And so my audience is moms, and this is who I want to share my love with, right?
Yeah, that's kind of exactly how it happened. Especially when you're starting something, we all want, we don't want to turn anyone away. We want as many customers or as many clients. If you're a fitness pro out there, we don't want to we try to tailor to everyone. And in reality, if you really want to grow and get good at what you're doing, you need a niche down, and you will start attracting that target customer the more focused you are on them. And so when I first started, my whole thing was, from the beginning, I wanted to really help other moms or just busy people at home, get fit they have their kids or they're working or whatever. You can still find a way to do your workout. But yeah, when I first started out, I definitely had a lot of men following me, which is fine. And I need them too. But that wasn't quite my target customer. And I was too afraid to talk about certain things like that women struggle with, jumping rope or just like finding the time, because I didn't want to turn them away. You know, I didn't want to turn them off. But I realized that I'm not going to turn off those people, but I'm going to attract more of the people that I'm here to help. I believe that I'm really here to help. When I niche down and really focus in on who it is, my target customer, and don't be scared to lose some people. You will lose some people along the way, and that's fine. But yeah, don't be scared of that. Just stay focused on what you know you're good at, what you believe in, and you will attract those people without a doubt. And it's scary. Now I'm saying this so freely, and I had to definitely convince myself so many times. I mean, almost daily, you know, like, okay, I'm doing the right thing, doing the right thing. Just stay focused on what you're doing. It will come.
Yeah. And I love that because you're right. I think that niching down means that you know, sometimes we try to speak to everybody and we speak to nobody. And,
Yeah.
and I know that a lot of us as fitness educators, we're famous for that. Sometimes people ask me, you know, what do you do? And I'm like, I don't know how to answer that question because, you know, it's like, well, how long do you have? So we do a lot of different things. We dip our toes in a lot of different pools. And then somebody goes to ask us what we do, and we do a lot of different things. But when you have this business and this is your bread and butter and this is your passion, it's about saying, you know what, it's okay if I drop a few audience members along the way because I want to cultivate the main audience that means the most to me. And eventually that audience will grow, and I'm going to speak to a community of people that I really, really want to speak to because this is my message. And in fact, save that whole thought about women and what women are concerned about, because we're going to talk about that in our next segment. But you're right, because I think that some of that is very specific to women. Mm-hmm. But there's one other thing that I kind of want to tap into, and it's more on a personal level. I feel like you had something that happened in your life that you have talked about that sort of was also a driver for you that made you say, if I'm ever going to do this, if I'm ever going to make my way in this space, and I'm really going to make a name for myself, there was a real driver for you to kind of build your brand. I think I read about it. You were in one of the local San Diego newspapers or something where you talked about that.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, this all goes to play. Don't let fear get in the way. The kind of kicker to starting my own jump rope line, I kind of was dragging it along because I was worried that I wasn't going to be successful doing it. But actually right before lockdown, I had a bunch of things just hit me. I went through a divorce. I lost my home. I had to find a new job. And I just had all these things hit me at once. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. Like at this point, I'm not going to let fear hold me back. When I feel like when you are truly passionate about something that you know is going to help other people, you're going to end up being successful one way or another. Just keep going with that. If you know you're going to help people and you know you're passionate about it, and that's what I had. And I'm like, I'm just going to go with this. And I know I have this jump rope that I've been working on, and I know people are going to love it. And I literally love everything about it as well. And it's going to help with workouts, going to help with strength training, all this stuff. So I just had to go after that. And I was like, all right, at this point, like, what do I have to lose? I'm definitely going to lose if I don't try to go for it. So I'm just going to go for it. So yeah, I launched my own jump rope line in April, or no, I started really working on it in April, and then it launched actually just last October. It took me that long to make sure, you know, I had everything going along. But yeah, so that was my driver. It's just like, no matter what life throws at you, there is always like some type of, you got to find the gratitude in life, and you got to just like look for what's working and just kind of feed off of that. There's always little wins going on. And for me, jumping rope was like my win. I would like had a lot of crazy stuff going on in life, but jumping rope and seeing all like my followers and people being like stoked and inspired by what I was doing kept me going. So I was very thankful for that. And so it's just the tiny little wins that kind of help you get through those hard times. And that's what you need to go with. Just don't let fear hold you back. That is like, oh my gosh, that is like the killer of everything is fear. And you just got to go for it. That's what life's about. And if you are strong about what you're passionate about and know that you're going to help people, it will work out one way or another.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm really glad, and I appreciate you sharing that story with us. I know that's a difficult story to share, but some of that is what really drew my heart to your heart, is realizing that your story came from such an authentic place. Is you really did what I always talk about, which is focus on what's working, not what's not working. And you really did focus on gratitude, and you really did take all of that and say, look, you know what, right now there's a lot of things not working, but I have this thing that's always worked for me, and I'm going to use it, and I'm going to make the most of it. And like you said, I think that when you have a passion and your mission is authentic, it's always going to work out one way or another. And so I really commend your courage in sharing that. And I think that that is such an important part of your story, that because it really speaks to your courage. It really speaks to who you are. It speaks to right here. And so I love you for that. So, you know what, if we were on Sports Center, the bells would be ringing right now, or I don't know, and they'd be saying, hey, hold on, this segment is over, so we need to move on. So Carly, let's move on to our second segment. So again, I'm speaking to Carly Kent. She is the owner of Gratitude Ropes, and she's Jump Rope Mom on Instagram. And Carly and I just talked about how to turn your passion into a profit. And now we are going to talk about how to use jump rope to, you know, how to bring this to Fit Pros in the Fit Pro community, and what can we do as trainers to use jump ropes with our clients. And so Carly, one of the first things I really want to know is, what's the youngest and what's the oldest person you've ever taught to jump rope?
Okay, so the youngest is probably 4 years old. I do recommend starting them at 6 years old, though. That's kind of where kids start to really get the hand-eye coordination connection. But they are super fun at 4 years old. And yeah, you can teach them, but 6 is what I would say to start them at. I actually have a funny story with the oldest jump roper. She's actually in the Guinness Book of World Records. I was at a jump rope competition last year before this whole lockdown came, and I was judging her, and she is 76 years old. Judas Ann, if you find her on Instagram, she is so amazing. She was the oldest jump roper there, and she competed, and she's now in the Guinness Book of World Records. But it just goes to show, like, oh my God, 76 years old, can still jump rope. It's actually a very low impact activity. You can go at your own pace. But yeah, she is so rad. And yeah, she's in great shape, and she is jumping rope every day on our Instagram. You can see her on there. But yeah, 76, that's the oldest.
Okay, awesome. And you know, it goes to show, like you said, jump roping really is a low impact sport, and especially if done properly, right? If you soften the knees and you keep your form and your posture up to par, then it actually really is a low impact sport. And so, but, and again, it's great hand-eye coordination, and it's great cardio. I mean, so it kicks my butt. I'm telling you, 1 minute kicks my butt. So when I watch you on Instagram, I'm like, wait, hold on, when are you breathing? So, so that's your oldest and your youngest person. But let's get to something that you kind of talked about in the first segment. And I really want to come back to that, because you and I have talked about it, because one of the first things that women say, because I used to bring out jump ropes in a fitness class that I used to teach, and women always, the first thing out of their mouths is, I'm going to pee my pants, or what if I pee my pants? Because women, after they've had babies, let's be real here, sometimes that is a big concern. So what's your thought on that?
Yeah, so our pelvic floor muscles, regardless if you have babies or not, they start to weaken over time. So it's a muscle. Good news is it's a muscle, and you can build it back. So we got to build it back, regardless if you had kids or not. It starts to, if you aren't using it, it gets weaker over time. I tell people, my first question is, well, can you lightly jog without peeing your pants? And a lot of times they'll be like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, if you can jog lightly without peeing your pants, you could jump rope. Now, here's the secret to it. You want to do alternating foot, which is right, left, like you're jogging when you're jumping rope, is a lot better on our pelvic floor muscles than it is jumping 2 feet together if you have concerns that you're going to pee your pants, okay? So instead of jumping 2 feet together, you're going to do alternating foot, right, left. 90% of women, that helps all of them, okay? So then the 10% that maybe still be leaking, then you're gonna wanna work on your pelvic floor muscles, which there are some really great exercises for that. Just making sure that you urinate before you exercise, and then if you can, first thing in the morning, because your bladder is not full. But don't let that deter you from trying to jump rope. Like, I remember after I had my first child and I went to a trampoline park and I started jumping, and I was like, whoa, what is going on here? Because just like the impact, but jumping rope, it's not that high of an impact if you're doing it right, left on a mat and jumping on the balls of your feet. You should be good. And if you are leaking, then that is a sign that you need to build those muscles. So use it as a way to get started, to start working on those muscles. But don't let that be scared. When I teach classes and I tell instructors that want to start teaching, first thing I do, just so people are not nervous, is just rule that out. Hey, it's okay if you think you're going to pee your pants. Let me help you, just to clear the air so people aren't getting nervous, especially women. And if you are worried about it, just wear black leggings. Like, It's totally fine. Just don't wear purple. Don't wear, the color that you can see when you sweat, or you can just say it's sweat, but wear black leggings. I'm always wearing black leggings just in case, but I also sweat a lot too. So that's another thing. So dark leggings, ladies.
All right.
Dark leggings,
it's very
pelvic floor exercises.
It's very true. Like if you have those really cute pink leggings or white leggings, probably not.
Nope.
So,
but even if you're running, you're going to get wet, it's sweat,
yes,
whatever.
Absolutely. But I love that you shared that the right, left. I think that's huge. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to bring this up because I really do feel like a lot of women, this is a very big concern. But I also think that it's about technique too, because like you said, if you're staying light, if you're staying on the balls of your feet, if you're using your core, if you're jumping properly, you probably shouldn't be having a severe problem. But I have a funny tip for everybody here. It's not funny, haha, but it's something that actually works. Speaking of that, I have a big basin. And so when I come home, I immediately strip my fitness clothing and I put it in a basin full of water with a little bit of vinegar, because vinegar kills smells. If you've ever had a cat who's had a problem, you learn right away that vinegar kills smells. So I always soak my fitness clothing in a little bit of vinegar and water, because it helps to hold the color, but it also helps to eliminate smell. So there you go. Like you said, wear dark leggings and then soak it in vinegar when you get home. But yes, I love it. So I'm really glad you shared that. But we have a question. It looks like somebody has posted a question. And so I think that we are going to address that question as well. So this person is wanting to know, RJ is wanting to know, you said it's low impact, but what about people with weak or bad ankles? So what would you say to that?
I would definitely want to build that up. I would have them start shadow jumping and jumping on a mat, and then making sure that you're wearing shoes that have really great ankle and foot support. Because with jumping rope, like especially if you're just starting out, you want to start like no more than 30 seconds at a time, because it is muscles that we don't work very often in our ankle and foot. So if it's not something that you've been conditioning, say you're a boxer or tennis player or something like that, you definitely want to make sure that you're building those muscles up, at least get them warmed up before you start doing a lot of jumping rope. So yeah, just doing shadow jumping, which is jumping without the jump rope, doing it on a mat, and then really great shoes for foot and ankle support.
Okay, I'm glad you explained what shadow jumping was, because for a minute there I had to think about it. So yeah, so just jumping without an actual jump rope, and then
exactly, and that's something I also start my classes with. If any trainers are out there that want to get their classes into doing that, definitely have your class start shadow jumping. It also just helps them just kind of get used to the rhythm of their jump and all of that before they start jumping over the rope. So many people are worried about tripping in front of other people, and when you can start out just having everyone shadow jumping, they feel a lot more comfortable when they get into actually jumping rope. Half of the battle is people seriously embarrassed they're going to trip in front of somebody, and that holds them up.
Yeah, I agree. But that's a fear thing again. I mean, I think that people are always conscientious of how they jump rope or how they do anything in front of other people. Yeah. And I think that what we forget is that as a rule, I hate to break it to everybody, but as a rule, nobody in the room is paying attention to you because they're paying attention to themselves, right? So for all of the worry and concern that we have that other people are watching us, I think we often forget that they're generally watching themselves. So they haven't even seen what we're doing. Or if in fact we do something absolutely ridiculous, you know what I think they're thinking is, oh, thank goodness, because now if I do it, I won't feel alone, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think that's
like an icebreaker.
Yeah, it definitely is. So we have another question. So let's see what this question is. All right. So it is, what about my knees? Are they going to get hurt? So I kind of feel like we kind of talked about that we talked about the knees and the ankles, and I'll let you maybe just revisit that or go back over that if we feel like we want to expound on that a little bit.
Yeah, again, so to make it low impact, it's actually really low impact on your knees. You want to have your knees slightly bent, and you're going to be jumping on the balls of your feet, no more than 1 to 2 inches off the ground. That's all you need to jump, and it's going to be very low impact. Just make sure your knees are slightly bent on the balls of your feet, and your knees should be good. As long as you don't have anything else going on. But for the majority of us with no knee issues to begin with, just make sure you're doing it on a mat and keeping it low impact.
Okay. I love that. Just no more than 1 to 2 inches. I think that that's a big thing with jump roping. Not that I would, not that I'm any jump rope expert. Remember, I can only just do, basic jump roping, but I do think that people overwork it sometimes. It's like with anything. It's like swinging a kettlebell. There's a lot of timing and execution. I feel like that's involved in jump roping. It's a skill, and that has to do with timing and execution and not overworking it. Right. You only need to lift yourself slightly up off the floor, right? Just enough to skim under there, right?
Exactly. Yeah. If you go any higher than that, you're just wasting energy. We want to try to save as much energy as we can to keep those workouts longer. So 1 to 2 inches off the ground is all you need.
Okay. So, Carly, as far as Fit Pros bringing jump ropes to the fitness community and sharing it with their clients, what would you think is, the biggest thing that comes to my mind is fun. It makes fitness fun. We are so interested in making sure that our clients get safe, effective workouts, which is our number one rule.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we forget that we can do that, but it can also be fun. And so what comes to my mind when I think of jump roping is it is so darn fun. But what else do you think are the benefits of Fit Pros bringing jump roping to their clients, even if it's in small segments, adding another tool to their toolbox?
Yeah, honestly, it's one of the best ones. It's effective, it's efficient. You're going to burn more calories jumping rope than you would in 20 minutes than you would in a jog. You can take it anywhere. You could take it to the park. You could do it at home. It's portable. You could put it in your car, in your backpack, wherever it is. And then nowadays with gyms being closed or people wanting to jump rope outside, it's literally the best effective workout. You're going to burn so many calories. It's going to help strengthen your glutes, your calves. It's going to help tone those. It's full body workout. If you add in a weighted jump rope, you're going to start pulling in a lot of your back muscles, your triceps. It's literally endless, and it's just like easy to take anywhere, anytime. And then also be 6 feet apart. Otherwise, you're going to hit people with the rope. So you're automatically spaced. If in case you're worried about anything, it's just like the most ideal workout. And I know I'm like jump rope mom saying that, but it really is. Like, you could just do it anywhere. All you need, 30-second burst of jumping rope, and then you can start doing bodyweight exercises, throwing some weights, and you are like golden. Yeah. Best.
You might be a little biased, but you know what? You sold me. If that was a commercial right now,
I think we'll know that. Like, literally, my mind's blown. I'm like, why do you have a big treadmill? Why do you even have a bike? Like, just your jump rope and it's so fun. Like, it's seriously fun, and it challenges you. It keeps you quick on your toes. It helps your brain function. People in sports, if they wanted the better hand-eye coordination, I teach tennis clubs over here, help train them. The baseball team's doing it now for my son. Like, they all do it before because it just helps get their mind and everything connected before they go out and do any sport, honestly. It's so good.
All right,
it's like awesome. Really the most underrated exercise, I would say, that's going on. At least last year, it's been picking up a lot more, but I'm telling you guys, jumping rope is where it's at.
I think, you know what, you sold me. And I love the portability. It's the same thing with exercise bands. I love packing exercise bands in my luggage when I go on vacation, because the portability, the ease of use, the multifunctionality, being able to work every muscle. And I feel like what you're saying with jump rope is it's all the same, especially if you use the weighted rope. I just love the portability aspect and the simplicity of it, and the fact that everybody can do it. So we have a couple more questions. Let's see if we can grab a couple more questions, Carly. All right. So let's see what we've got. All right. So there's different types of jump ropes. What type do you recommend? Hold on. I've got the answer. I think they're called gratitude ropes.
Yes. Here I am being biased. I'm assuming that this question is for somebody that wants to work out and do it for cardio. And that's what my own line, gratitude ropes, is. I would say a PVC jump rope is the best. And then when you can switch out the weights is where you're going to see the best outcome for your body. Anytime we can switch up, making things heavy or light, easier, is the best. And so I love my own ropes. They are PVC ropes coated with wire, and you get different weights. So I'll do like an endurance jump rope for a minute with my light rope, and then I'll switch to my heavy rope for 30 seconds, back and forth. But just like a PVC jump rope, you guys, if you don't want anything fancy and you just want to get started and see if you like it, start with just a PVC jump rope. It's like a middle ground weight, and it is really, really great for cardio, for outside, on the go, easy to store.
Okay, awesome. You know, I haven't ordered one from you yet. That's going to be on my bucket list when we
I'm
hang up the
sending one
phone.
to you.
So I think we have one more question, Carly. Let's see what we've got. All right. I love questions. I think questions are so exciting.
I'm down.
All right. It's like being on a game show. How long should you jump rope a day? Well, if it's me, it's 1 minute and I'm tapped out. So how about you, Carly?
Oh my gosh. So that is a question. I mean, it varies with everyone. If you were just starting out to jumping rope, I would start with 30 seconds. 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, and then just kind of gauge yourself of how you feel. You want to give yourself at least a day rest in between because, again, your ankle and calf muscles are ones that we don't use on the daily, and they will get sore, and you don't want shin splints. So to avoid getting shin splints, start slow, 30 seconds at a time, and gradually work your way up. I personally, I do 30-minute workouts, and I like to do 1 minute or 90-second intervals of jumping rope, and then I'll do 1 minute body weight exercises, or I'll use weights in between that. If I'm doing a freestyle, I'll jump all the way up to like 5, 6, 7 minutes nonstop, take a minute break, and then keep going. I don't suggest that for anyone that's not already jumping rope, but it's definitely something you can get to. But 30 seconds at a time or 1 minute is really, really great intervals.
Okay, perfect. I like that.
Great question.
I like that a lot. And plus it just adds a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertainment. And if you can learn different skills and drills, I imagine that, like you said, if you go freestyle, because you know so many different ways of jumping rope, I'm sure that you can tailor that to where sometimes it's more intense, sometimes it's less intense. So,
Yes.
You know, once again, I was speaking to Carly Kent today, and she is Jump Rope Mom. She's owner of Gratitude Ropes. And we had this full discussion on how to, you know, turn your passion into profit. And then also what we as Fit Pros how we can implement jump rope into helping our clients. So I really appreciate the discussion with you, Carly. I appreciate all of you tuning in. And if you don't catch us live, be sure to tell people that they can listen to the audio version on Spotify, and they can also listen to the audio version on Apple Podcasts. And I'm going to shamelessly say too, that if you enjoy it, don't forget to rate it. Okay. So, so I'm Angie Miller, and you can reach out to me. You can ask us questions on Facebook. You can reach out to me on my website, Angie Miller Fitness, and on Instagram, I'm Angie Miller Fit. Carly, you are at Jump Rope Mom, and are you at Jump Rope Mom on your Facebook as well as Instagram?
I am, yeah. Just Jump Rope Mom Facebook, on YouTube, and then you can see my ropes at gratituderopes.com.
Perfect. So thank you all again for joining us. I hope that you jump your way into the weekend. Carly, much love to you. Much love to everybody. Stay safe, be well, and we will see you next week.
Bye.